In this video, I will consider one numerical on 4-point circular convolution. Determine the 4-point circular convolution of the sequences x1 of n is equal to cos 2 pi n by n and x2 of n is equal to sin 2 pi n by n, where n varies from 0 to 3 using time domain formula. So here we are supposed to find the convolution between x1 of n and x2 of n using time domain formula. So here we can observe that n value is equal to 4. So as we know, the convolution between x1 of n and x2 of n can be represented as y of n is equal to x1 of n convolution x2 of n. So first we'll try to simplify this x1 of n and x2 of n for different values of n. That is, here x1 of n is nothing but cos 2 pi n by n, and we have sin 2 pi n by n. So if we take n is equal to 0, so in that case cos value will be 1 and this value will be 0. If we consider n equal to 1, the value of this is 0, this will be 1. If we consider n equal to 2, this value will be minus 1, this will be 0. If we consider n equal to 3, we'll get this as 0 and this as minus 1. So now I can write x1 of n is equal to 1, 0, minus 1, 0. That is 1, 0, minus 1, 0. And we have x2 of n is equal to 0, 1, 0, minus 1. So these are the given two sequences. So now we are supposed to find the circular convolution between those two. So here this is nothing but x1 of 0 is 1, x1 of 1 is equal to 0, x1 of 2 is equal to minus 1, x1 of 3 is equal to 0. Similarly here we have x2 of 0 is equal to 0, x2 of 1 is equal to 1, x2 of 2 is equal to 0, x2 of 3 is equal to minus 1. So now let's write the circular convolution in time domain formula, which is given by y of n is equal to x1 of n circular convolution x2 of n. So the time domain formula is represented as summation, say m equal to 0 to 3, because here n is equal to 4, so n minus 1. We have x1 of m, x2 of n minus m. So here we have 4. We'll call it as equation 1. This is the time domain formula where m is equal to 0 to n minus 1. So n is 4, so it is 3. So here it's supposed to be n is nothing but 4. This is the formula to be used. So now we'll substitute different values of n in equation 1. Let n is equal to 0. So let me substitute n equal to 0 in this equation. We'll get y of 0 is equal to, that is here we have m equal to 0 to 3, x1 of m, x2 of n. So here n value is 0, it will be, I can write it as minus m4. Now let me simplify this. We know that x of minus m, n can be represented as x of n minus m, which is nothing but x of n minus m. So let me simplify this further. So I can expand the summation for different values of m. So here substitute m equal to 0, I'll get x1 of 0, x2 of 0, plus let me substitute m equal to 1, x1 of 1, and here we have x2 of minus 1, plus let me substitute m equal to 2, that is x1 of 2, x2 of minus 2, plus x1 of 3, x2 of minus 3. I will simplify this further. That is x1 of 0, x2 of 0 plus x1 of 1. Here x2 of minus 1 of 4 is nothing but x. By applying this formula we can write it as x2 of 4 minus 1. So x2 of 4 minus 1 is nothing but x2 of 3. So this is x2 of 3 plus similarly here I can write it as x1 of 2. So this will be x2 of 4 minus 2, that is x2 of 2 plus x1 of 3. Here 4 minus 3 is 1, that is x2 of 1. Now let me substitute the values x1 of 0 and x2 of 0. So x1 of 0 is 1, x2 of 0 is 0. So it is 1 into 0 plus x1 of 1. So here x1 of 1 is 0, that is 0 into x2 of 3 is minus 1. We have minus 1 plus x1 of 2 is minus 1 into we have x2 of 2 is 0 plus x1 of 3 is 0. We have x2 of 1 is 1. So simplifying this, this is 0 plus 0 and this is also 0, this is also 0, which is equal to 0. So y of 0 value is 0. So similarly, now let me substitute n equal to 1. So let n is equal to 1. So I can write equation 1 as y of 1 is equal to summation m equal to 0 to 3. So we have x1 of m, x1 of m, x2 of n minus m. N value is 1 now. 1 minus m of 4. Let me simplify this, expand the summation. I can write x1 of 0, x2 of 1 plus, let me take m equal to 1. So it will be x1 of 1, x2 of, we have 1 minus 1 is 0 plus we have x1 of 2, x2 of 1 minus 2 is minus 1 plus x1 of 3, x2 of 1 minus 3 is minus 2. So I will simplify this further, that is x1 of 0, x2 of 1 of 4 is nothing but this is x2 of 1 itself plus here we have x1 of 1. So x2 of, this is x2 of 0 itself plus x1 of 2, this is x2 of 4 minus 1, that is x2 of 3 plus we have x1 of 3, this is x2 of 4 minus 2, that is x2 of 2. Let me substitute the values. 1 into x2 of 1 is 1 plus x1 of 1 is 0 into x2 of 0 is 0 plus x1 of 2 is minus 1 into x2 of 3 is minus 1 plus x1 of 3 is 0 into x2 of 2 is 0. So simplifying this will get 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0, which is equal to 2. Now let me consider n equal to 2, that is let n equal to 2. So now I can write y of 2 is equal to, we have summation, therefore y of 2 is equal to summation m equal to 0 to 3 x1 of m, x2 of n value is 2 now, that is 2 minus m of 4. Let me simplify, expand the summation for different values of m. So this will be x1 of 0, this is x2 of 2 minus 0, that is nothing but x2 of 4 plus m equal to 1, that is x1 of 1 into x2 of 2 minus 1 is 1. 4 plus, let me take n m equal to 2, x1 of 2, x2 of, we have 2 minus 2 is 0, plus n m equal to 3, we'll be having x1 of 3, x2 of 2 minus 3 is minus 1. So simplifying this further, I can write x1 of 0, this is nothing but x2 of 2 plus this is x1 of 1, this is x2 of 1 plus x1 of 2, x2 of 0 plus this will be x1 of 3, x2 of minus 1 means x2 of 4 minus 1, that is x2 of 3. Let me substitute the values. x1 of 0 is 1 into x2 of 2 is 0 plus x1 of 1 is 0 into x2 of 1 is 1 plus x1 of 2 is minus 1 into x2 of 0 is 0 plus x1 of 3 is 0 into x2 of 3 is minus 1. So simplifying this will get 0. Y of 2 is 0. Now let me consider the last sample, that is n equal to 3. That is let m, so let n equal to 3. So I can write y of 3 is equal to summation m equal to 0 to 3 x1 of m x2 of 3 minus m. Let me simplify this. Y of 3 is equal to, I will expand the summation, x1 of 0. So here we have x2 of 3 plus x1 of 1, x2 of 3 minus 1 is 2 plus, so m equal to 2 will get x1 of 2, x2 of 1 plus m equal to 3, that is x1 of 3, x2 of 0. So this is, I can write, simplify this, x1 of 0, x2 of 3 plus x1 of 1, x2 of 2 plus x1 of 2, this will be x2 of 1 plus this is x1 of 3, x2 of 0. Let me substitute the values. x1 of 0 is 1 into x2 of 3 is minus 1 plus x1 of 1 is 0 into x2 of 2 is 0 plus x1 of 2 is minus 1, x2 of 1 is 1 plus x1 of 3 is 0 into x2 of 0 is 0. So simplifying this, this is minus 1 plus 0. So here it is minus 1 plus 0, which is equal to minus 2. So therefore y of 3 is equal to minus 2. So therefore now let me write y of n sequence. That is y of n is equal to, we have 0, 2, 0, minus 2. That is 0, 2, 0, minus 2. So this is the convolution between the given sequence x1 of n and x2 of n. So now in time domain only, we can solve the same problem using alternate method. So this is x1 of n sequence and this is x2 of n sequence. The circular convolution between x1 of n and x2 of n, that is x1 of n, x2 of n is equal to summation m equal to 0 to n minus 1 x1 of m x2 of n minus m. So in this method now I will show the value of n, x1 of n and x2 of n minus m and y of n in table. That is, the first column is say n, second column is say x1 of m and third column is say x2 of n minus m, and the fourth column say y. So as we know, the value of n varies from 0 to 3, that is for n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. So here x1 of m is nothing but x1 of n sequence itself. We'll write x1 of n sequence same as x1 of n, that is 1, 0, minus 1, 0. For all n equal to 0, for all values of n, it's supposed to be same, that is 1, 0, minus 1, 0, that is x1 of n is constant, 1, 0, minus 1, 0, 1, 0, minus 1 and 0. I will try to represent this x2 of n on a circle such that this is circle. Assume that this is for n equal to 0, this is for 1, this is 2 and this is 3. So if I represent these values in anti-clockwise direction, that is, say this is 0, this is 1, this is 0 and this is minus 1. So this is x2 of m. That is, I have represented in anti-clockwise direction, that is like this. So x2 of minus m is nothing but representing the same values in clockwise direction with the same indexes. That is, we supposed to represent this x2 of n, that is, I will draw the same circle. The index values are same, that is, this is 0, say this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. Now I will represent these values in clockwise direction. This is anti-clockwise direction. Now I will represent in clockwise direction as 0, the next value is 1, next value is 0, next value is minus 1. So representing this is nothing but x2 of minus m, that is circular shift. This is nothing but x2 of minus m. So here I can write it as, for 0 it is 0, for 1 it is minus 1. Now while writing is supposed to follow the index 0, 1, 2, 3, that is 0 and it is 1. Put the bracket here. So now for n equal to 1, this value will be x2 of 1 minus m, circularly shifted by 4. It means that when we write x2 of 1 minus m is nothing but x2 of minus m sequence shifted by 1 unit towards right. So if I shift this towards right, means this sample will occupy here and these all samples will forwarded by shifted by 1 unit towards right, so that I can represent it as this sample will represented here and this will be shifted 1, 0, minus 1 and this will be 0. So now for n equal to 2, it will be x2 of 2 minus m. It means that shift this sequence by 2 unit or shift this sequence by 1 unit again towards right. If I shift this towards right, this sample will come first, that is 0. This will be shifted, this will be shifted and this will be shifted. Now similarly for x2 of 3 minus m, again this will be shifted by 1 unit towards right. So this minus 1 will come first, this is 0, this is 1 and this is 0. Now to get the value of y, we are supposed to multiply the corresponding values, that is this value is multiplied with this, that is 1 into 0 is 0 plus second value is multiplied with second value, that is 0 minus 1 is 0. Similarly third value with third value, that is 0 plus 0 into 1 is 0. Similarly for second row, that is 1 into 1 is 1 plus 0 into 0 is 0, minus 1 into minus 1 is plus 1, 0 into 0 is 0. Similarly for n equal to 2, it is 1 into 0, that is 0, plus 0 into 1 is 0, minus 1 into 0 is 0, 0 into 1 is 0. Similarly, here 1 into minus 1 is minus 1, it is 0, then we have minus 1, then we have 0. Therefore, we can write is equal to 0 is equal to 2 is equal to 0 is equal to minus 2. Therefore, y of n is equal to 0, 2, 0, minus 2. So this is the circular convolution between two sequences x1 of n and x2 of n using time domain. Here we can observe that we got the same result, that is 0, 2, 0, minus 2. Here also we got 0, 2, 0, minus 2. So this is alternate method. Both methods are fine. Thank you for watching.